Hey guys, today I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about for a while. It has a lot to do with expectations versus reality. I heard I heard once that if you lower your expectations, you'll almost never be disappointed. Doesn't mean you don't aim high, but keep your expectations low. You shoot high, but you keep your expectations low. Okay? And that way you'll maintain some of your happiness. One of the things that reminded me of this quote was the new Disney Star Wars movies. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, geez, here we go. It's going to be a long rant about how bad Star Wars is. Well, kind of, but not necessarily. What I want to say is that the reason why I think that our expectations for Star Wars, or rather why we were disappointed by why a lot of people were disappointed by Star Wars, not everybody, why a lot of people were disappointed by Star Wars was, I guess, threefold. And the first one would be that we had high expectations. So in Star Wars, for Hollywood, Star Wars is just another movie, right? So in Hollywood, Star Wars is just another movie. It doesn't matter. Just make it, fun, exciting, all that stuff. And you know what, if that were the template, if it were just another movie where you just needed cool action scenes and a basic plot, then I guess Star Wars, did what they needed to do. But here's why the expectations were so high. Let me bring this up. So you see all this stuff right here. It says, I want you to pay attention to this column right here. It says Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm. That all started when they bought the company in 2014. But before Lucasfilm, there was all these books and more, actually. Release date. I think this is the re-release, because there was books dating back to the 80s and 90s. There's all types of books for Star Wars. Tons. There's probably at least 20 plus books that had to do with the original trilogy, not the Clone Wars or anything, but legitimately about the original trilogy. A lot of them were created by Timothy Zahn, and a lot of them were about Jason Solo and Jaina Solo and Anakin Solo and Ben Skywalker and the children of the main protagonists of the original Star Wars movies. So this is we had a somewhat expectation for the stories to be somewhat similar to these books, because why wouldn't they? They're good books. They're interesting. People read them a lot. They're bestsellers, I believe, in some cases. So this Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, The Last Command, Spectre of the Past. I've only read a little bit. Honestly, I've only read probably like 2 or 3 of these books. But my whole point is that we expected this. This is what we expected. We expected the Empire to be in shambles. We expected Luke to be kind of, on top of things because he was the most powerful Jedi in the world. And we just expected, like the Jedi Search, and then slowly integrate Han and Leia's son, and then Leia, she started her training. That's in the books too. She started her training and stuff. And some of it they kept as canon, but they changed pretty much everything about the canon. They changed everything about the canon when they bought Star Wars. I think that is the essence of the frustration when it comes to Disney. A lot of people I've seen are telling me, "Oh, you just don't like Star Wars because you're a sexist. You're just a sexist. You just don't like seeing women in lead roles." And that could not be further from the truth. For instance, I absolutely love The Mandalorian. I think The Mandalorian is an incredible series, and Gina Carano is an incredible actress. It has nothing to do, and so is Pedro Pascal. They work well together. It makes sense. Their stories make sense. Everything about everything in The Mandalorian makes sense. It all fits. It's all new. It's fresh. It's believable. It fits in the universe. It can be told from the Clone Wars. The Mandalorian, connects to the Clone Wars. There's a lot of things about the Mandalorian that are amazing, and Gina Carano is definitely one of those. And it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. It has everything to do with the fact that she was well written. Her character was well written. It was well received. They wrote it correctly. And you know what? That takes absolutely nothing away from Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley did a fine job. She did. She did a fine job with what she was given. She was given garbage. I mean, look at this dialogue for Daisy Ridley. It's just, there's no light left in Kylo Ren. He's only getting stronger, as if Luke knows who the fuck Kylo Ren is. Like, he just, the second that Ben turned to the dark side, Luke just knew that he'd change his name. Like, you're not, this is just, there's so many problems with this. One, the first problem I have with it is that I could have written this dialogue. I could have done this. I probably could have done a better job at writing this dialogue. That's the first problem I have. The second problem is Luke Skywalker, based on our expectations, was a total badass after the Return of the Jedi. He was a total badass. Completely badass. Han was a badass. Leia was, going to be a Jedi, so she was going to be cool, right? So that was our expectations going into these movies. And you go to the movies, and Luke is a sad, sad, sad piece of shit who doesn't care. You're wasting your time. You're just wasting your time. Just let everything suck. Just let everything fail. Oh, there's these Jedi texts that nobody ever talked about ever. Not once in the history of the show. No one talked about ancient Jedi texts. That's fucking stupid. And even if they did, they were not relevant enough to bring up in this thing. It's stupid. It's just stupid. Where are you from? No one's from nowhere. Jakku. All right, that is pretty much nowhere. Ho 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 ho. You need a teacher, but I can't teach you. Okay? But you're the only Jedi Master alive. So it's like, again, this, for Hollywood, this is just another movie. It doesn't matter. For the fandom, for the actual, true Star Wars fans who watched all the movie, or read all the books, watched all the movies, and played all the video games. Played all these video games that we had. Like Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, and Dark Force Rising, all this stuff. All these video games that we had. All this stuff. Darth Plagueis. Stuff like things that I didn't even read yet. I'm still reading stuff like this. Luke and Mara Jade getting together, having a son. All these things, they just swept them right under the rug. So for 20 years they were baking, maybe if they come back they can do it like this, and maybe they'll do it like that. Not only did they not get inspired from the material that was written for the last 20 years, they didn't even use it at all. They tried to tear it down. It felt like they were attempting to destroy everything that was built up until 2014. They're like, that stuff that you guys wrote about and all the fan fiction and everything? We'll screw that stuff. Look at all these video games we had. In the 1980s, they had Star Wars Droids. They had Star Wars Jedi Arena. They had Star Wars Death Star Interceptor. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Star Wars Master of whatever. All this stuff is just sitting there. It's still out there. You can get these games. I have Star Wars Jedi Academy on Steam. You can play with and as Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn is a badass character, and they just got rid of him. It's like, we don't need a badass character. We don't need a badass character. We have all these badass characters that nobody knows anything about and have absolutely no emotional connection. And to their credit, Poe Dameron, the guy who plays Poe Dameron, he said he was crying in his shower one time. John Boyega has criticized the Star Wars on Twitter, and Daisy Ridley said that they will not do Star Wars anymore again because their characters were so poorly written. That's not why they said it, but that is why they're doing it, though. That's why they are not into Star Wars anymore, because their characters were so badly written. If they had a badass character, then everybody would want those characters back. And honestly, it's not even too late. They release new canon comics all the time, so they could still potentially make those characters fit. It's just you added too much. You added too much without doing enough about nostalgia, and that doesn't even get me to the lightsaber. So Luke gets his hand cut off by his father, right? He gets his hand cut off by his father, and he slices the lightsaber in half or whatever, or he loses the lightsaber. I don't know what it is. He drops. I don't even think he sliced it in half. Yeah, he just dropped it, and I guess they picked it up. See, like they're doing stuff like this all the time to try to like add to the story, and you got to be careful that you're not taking away from the story. You really, really do. You really got to be careful. Furthermore, I would have loved to see a Leia training video. I would have loved to see The Last Jedi showed Leia training with Luke and Luke teaching Leia the ways of the Force. All this stuff that they could have had in the last, like just recap it. Do a little bit, just a little flashback. Leave a little bit. Don't try to just change everything. And they did. They changed literally everything. And not only that, but for some reason, Leia can just, float in space. Fuck all the Jedi, like, training that... the only reason Plo Koon was able to do that, from what I understand, is because of the race he's actually in. He actually has, like, the ability to breathe outside of space for a while, like, along with his power. Like, you can't just, like, control space. At least as far as I know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that. I guess, according to Disney, you can. According to Disney, you can control space. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing with hyperspace and how they use that as a weapon. I don't think that's how that works, but I'm not going to go into it because I don't. Again, I could be proven wrong. It makes sense. But my main point for making this video is that you cannot blame poor writing of The Last Jedi and the other movies on Star Wars or any fandom. You can't blame it on the fact that it's a woman. You can't blame it on the fact that Daisy Ridley is the main character. You just can't. Daisy Ridley, 1, did a good job. 2, her character wasn't completely stupid. It was just everything around, and then 3, everything around her character was what made it stupid. That's the problem. That was what the issue was. Everything around her character made it dumb. Like the fact that she just blew up a ship with lightning. Like, really? You're gonna say that she can blow up a ship with lightning? Also, she was more powerful than Luke right away. I will never train another. I came to this island to die. It's time for the Jedi to die. Like, that's such a depressing line. It's so depressing. Why not? I've seen your daily routine. You're not busy. He's just this, like, weird old creep who does nothing all the time. It doesn't fit to me. That's all. It just doesn't fit. If you guys think it fits, let me know why I'm wrong in the comments below. I absolutely love The Mandalorian. I have nothing bad to say about it. I think that sexism is a really bad argument when in reality it's poor writing is what happened. And expectations. I think poor writing and expectations are the main reasons why Star Wars was not good to me and not good to many people. It has nothing to do with the fact that there's a woman. It just doesn't. It's silly. It doesn't. Nobody cares about that. I mean, yeah, this is my opinion. Like, if you think Star Wars is great, you tell me your opinion in the comments below. Tell me why you think the new Star Wars is great. Maybe it's a generational thing. A lot of people said that in the original series when the prequels came out, oh, these are horrible, these are badly written, all this dialogue, which I will admit the dialogue in the prequels is hella cringy, but I don't think it's nearly as cringy as the Rian Johnson movie. I don't think it's nearly as cringy as Last Jedi. It was just awful, and it just none of it fit. Almost none of it fit. Like, there was probably like 10% of it which fit. Like, for instance, Kylo Ren going to Mustafar, that made sense. Okay, all right. You're going to check out what your grandpa built. Okay, all right, that makes sense. There's a few things that made sense in the movie. It just wasn't a lot. Tell me what you think made sense. Tell me what you didn't like and what you did like about the new Star Wars. And how do you like The Mandalorian? Do you think it's the new wave of Star Wars is going to be these live-action TV series? I think that and the fact that A lot of people love Ahsoka and the Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Clone Wars. I've only seen like probably 1/3 of that story, but a lot of people love Ahsoka. So you can't tell me that it has anything to do with feminism when it's all to do with the writing. Ahsoka is a well written character. Gina Carano has a well written character, um, and it's just a bad argument to say that we don't want women to see. We don't care. Most people don't care. They just want a good movie that they can kind of chew on. You gave nothing for us to chew on. I don't care about The Rise of Skywalker. I saw it once, and I literally don't care. Like, the entire plot was stupid because I don't care. They had, like, 10,000, like, dead Star Destroyers? Like, they were in another universe, and they were dead, and they, like, were being lifted up. They all were, like, right next to each other, which, one, logistically makes no sense, and two, where's the gasoline, the fuel, anything like that? Well, like, I'm not saying you need gasoline in space, but my point is, like, are they just endlessly fueled? They just sit there and wait for some Jedi to come and attack uh, the Emperor. It was just so weird and bizarre, and it had nothing to do with anything in Star Wars. It didn't feel like a Star Wars. The Mandalorian feels like a Star Wars movie. Unfortunately for these three actors, who were incredible, by the way, Oscar Isaac said he was, crying in the shower because of all the criticism, but it's not his fault. It really isn't. It's not John Boyega's fault. It's not Daisy Ridley's fault. Each of them did a good job. Uh, John criticizes the writing on Twitter, which rightfully so. I'd be mad if I was him too. I'd be pissed. Like, even if I did make a bunch of money, I'd still be upset because it's bullshit. You gave me a good character, and then you followed him up with nothing. I'm supposed to be the Black Han Solo, but there's nothing to me. Like, what? You expect us to just enjoy that, but it's like, how could we enjoy when you give us nothing? You gave us, honestly, if anyone's sexist or racist, it's fucking Hollywood. Because they just decided, he's black, you don't need a cool story. Or she's a woman, she don't need to. Why don't you make them have a cool story? I want John Boyega to have a cool story, damn it. I love John Boyega. I loved his character. He was fun. He was one of the few good, him and Poe Dameron, one of the few good things about a story. Even Daisy Ridley was probably a more upside than downside. I did not like Kylo Ren. I thought he was the dumbest character I've ever seen. I was not scared he was going to do anything, ever. I was never scared that Kylo Ren was going to hurt one of these characters. I was never terrified of that, ever. Even when he killed Han Solo, I was like, that's because Harrison Ford didn't want to be part of it. It was just not very good. But anyway, that's what I was thinking. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you have similar opinions, or do you totally disagree with me? You love these new Star Wars films. People clearly liked them because, you made $1 billion. You couldn't have done that bad.